Hey guys, this video will be looking at how you can take a series of transformations to get a pre-image into an image. So all three of these problems, there's going to be specifically two different transformations that takes place between the pre-image and image. So our instructions say that the black shape is the pre-image. Remember, your pre-image is always your starting point. So each of these problems are going to start with the black shape and try to get it to the gray one. So first, if I look at this number one, first thing that I notice is that this triangle has been flipped. My diagonal is facing to the right over here, and then my diagonal is facing to the left here. So I know there's got to be some sort of flip over the y-axis. Specifically, we call that a reflection. So the first thing that I know this is going to do is it's going to be a reflection across the y-axis. Remember, you always have to describe what you're reflecting over. So in this case, if I reflect over the y-axis, my next step is I'm going to draw my new shape over here. So these points are 2 away from your line of reflection, so it's going to go 2 away on the other side. This far point is 5 away from your line of reflection, so you're going to go 5 away over here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my shape after the reflection. So I might call this shape A, this shape A prime, and then what I'm trying to get to down here is A double prime. So now that it's been reflected across the y-axis, I see that it's the exact same shape that's just been shifted down. So to get from A prime to A double prime, all I have to do is slide down, and we call that slide a translation. So I'm going to pick the lower right point, and I'm going to go to the lower right point on my other shape. So I move down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points until I get to that other point. So this is a translation of 7 units down. Keep in mind that you can do these transformations in any order. We could have also translated our shape down and then reflected it across. The order does not matter here. Now for number 2, I'm going to start with my black pre-image. And I notice that these shapes are facing a different way. I have my L, my 90-degree angle, facing this way in this shape, and it's facing a different way in this shape. I have my long side up and then my long side sideways. That makes me think that a rotation has happened. It's been turned. So if I'm going from my black shape to my gray shape, I'm going to think I turned it. In this case, it's going to be clockwise. So I'm going to start with a 90-degree clockwise turn. So 90 degrees clockwise rotation. Remember, rotation, you always have to say the degrees and then also which way, clockwise or counterclockwise. So remember, a clockwise rotation, your rule says that your coordinate point x, y will become your coordinate point y, negative x. So I'm just going to pick a couple points and use this rule to find out where my shape will be after this rotation. So my first point here is the point 0, 2. If I use my rule, my y is going to come first, so 2, and then my x comes second and it becomes negative, negative 0. We know negative 0 is just 0. So my new point there is going to be 2, 0. And I'm going to do that for one more point. So I'm going to pick this point out here. That's the point negative 7, 2. If I use my rule once again, it says y comes first, and then it's negative x, so y is 2. X is negative 7. If we make that another negative, those two negatives cancel out, so it's positive 7. So this point here is now 2, 7. So it's going to be this point up here. And now I can kind of draw out my triangle. Here's my long side. My short side is 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So now my short side is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 units. And I can kind of connect it into my triangle. So as you can see here, we've taken this triangle and we've just rotated up. Now that I've done this rotation, I see that it's a mirror image across that x-axis. So the last thing we're going to have to do is take this triangle and we're going to flip it down below. So your second transformation is then a reflection across the x-axis. So once again, this can be my shape B. This can be my shape B prime. That's kind of your middle step. And then our final shape, which we're trying to get to, is B double prime. So we rotated 90 degrees clockwise, and then we reflected across the x-axis. Now, number 3, once again, we're starting with our pre-image, which is our black one. And I again see that it's been rotated. My long side here, or the way that skinny triangle is facing, is down. It's now facing sideways. So I see that there's been some sort of rotation there. So if once again we're going in this direction, that's clockwise, because it's not directly across from it, I know it's not 180 degrees, so I know that's got to be a rotation of 90 degrees clockwise. I'm going to once again use my rule of x, y turns into y negative x. And I'm just going to do that for a couple of my points. So my first one I'm just going to pick is this point here. It's going to be 2, negative 2. So that will then turn into the y comes first, so negative 2. And then your x comes second, but it turns negative, so negative 2. So my new point is going to be down here at negative 2, negative 2. And now I'll also do maybe this point over here, which is going to be the point 4, negative 2. So my new point becomes negative 2, negative 4, which is right here. So I see that that's my skinny side. If it's rotating like this, I now know my long side, which is a unit of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Will have to be up here now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just going to connect those dots and make my triangle. So we've gone from C to C prime with a rotation of 90 degrees clockwise, and now we want to go to C prime to C double prime. These two shapes look identical, it's just they've been shifted. So C prime just has to be shifted up to get to C double prime. So your second transformation that happens here is just a translation. And we need to figure out how many units. So I'm going to take this top right corner, I'm going to go to the top right corner of my image. So I have to go up 1, 2, 3 units. So it's a translation of 3 units. Once again, you could have done this in any order. You could have taken this first triangle, shifted it up, and then rotated it. Or you can do it the order that we did it, where you rotated it and then translated it up. And now you know more.